Most people recognize Hiroshima and its dome, the first city of the nuclear bomb. The second city of Nagasaki was almost a footnote, a city that wasn't even a primary target. When the bomb was loaded onto the boxcar, the primary target was Kokura, a major weapons production center. But the crew didn't have a clear view, so they diverted south to their secondary target, Nagasaki. The bomb they carried was called Fat Man, physically about the same size as Little Boy dropped on Hiroshima, but Fat Man's plutonium core was more powerful than Little Boy's uranium core. And Nagasaki is in a narrow valley, surrounded by hills. The explosion was more contained and more intense. Completely devastating everything in the valley. The Japanese military had committed countless atrocities in the war, including taking over private homes and using them as torture chambers. Millions had already died in the conventional fight against Japan, and the brutal Battle of Okinawa alone, 4 months before the bombs were dropped, had resulted in 150,000 casualties between the two sides. Japan had also, of course, attacked the US first at Pearl Harbor. And by pure coincidence, Fat Man detonated almost exactly over the factory that made those torpedoes. But the power of the genie unleashed by just 2 bombs, Fat Man and Little Boy, can never be put back in the bottle. The Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum and memorials serve as reminders of the dangers that have been part of our world since 1945. You enter the Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum down a sloping ramp. The years on the wall tick by back into history. Past the link of 1,000 cranes, called Senbazuru, a Japanese symbol of peace, hope, healing, and granting of wishes by the gods. Finally, you're back in 1945. Stark images of the destruction are shown, and even though nuclear weapons were never used again in war, over 2,000 worldwide tests have harmed hundreds of thousands of involuntary victims. At another memorial, a lone column sits 500 meters below the aerial hypocenter of the blast. This nearby statue, erected on the 50th anniversary, remembers the thousands of mothers and children killed by the bomb. Beside the museum, beneath a tranquil pool of clear water, the Nagasaki National Peace Memorial Hall is a place of remembrance and prayer for all who died in the atomic bombing. Strings of origami left by family members and a searchable photo database are ways to remember them. But along with the memorials, the ruins, and the reminders, there are symbols of hope. The Urakami Cathedral, half a kilometer from the hypocenter, was destroyed and thousands who were attending 11 a.m. Mass were killed. But the survivors rebuilt the cathedral in 1959, incorporating remnants of the old one. Some of the surviving sculptures are left as reminders, and a partial wooden statue of the Virgin Mary was found in the rubble. On the hill below the cathedral, the remains of a bell tower lie where it fell. On a low hill north of the hypocenter, flanked by a golden origami crane, symbol of peace and hope. The right hand of the peace statue points towards the sky, where the bomb came from. The left hand points back towards the rebuilt cathedral. Flowers bloom on ground that was scorched and irradiated. And symbols of peace stand that were donated from around the world. Finally, in homage to a 9-year-old girl named Sachiko Yamaguchi and others who died after days without water, water flows continually from the Fountain of Peace. From Nagasaki, we move north to Fukuoka, as our exploration of the Japanese island of Kyushu continues.